Hello and welcome to another TechRadar Talks. I'm John McCann, this is Hugh Langley, and we're here today to talk to you about Nintendo, the NX and Android.
Yes, so the rumour is, out of Japan, that Nintendo might be basing its next console, the NX, as it's codenamed at the moment, on an Android operating system. Now, this sounds a bit of a crazy rumour, and it's not the first time we've heard a rumour about Nintendo doing something with Android. There was a rumour that they were doing an Android tablet a long time ago. I mean, on the face of it, it seems like baloney, but when you kind of dig in a little more, it kind of makes a bit of sense when you think about the NX is... So we know Nintendo's doing their mobile strategy, so they're going to be bringing games to smartphones and tablets. We're going to start seeing the kind of fruits of those labours later in the year. So when you think about that, basing the next console, whatever shape it might take, on Android does make sense. The logic, apparently, for this by the source is that Nintendo can better make kind of multi-platform games. At the moment, nothing else supports the Wii U's operating system, right? So it'll be more attractive for developers to put their games on the NX and maybe have them on tablets and phones as well. So it's an interesting idea. I think there's maybe some sense to it. But my initial thought is, hang on, Android, what's going on here? Nintendo's always made their own proprietary operating systems. Does this suggest we're going to get another low-spec hardware console? I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean it will be, but on the face of it, that's what I'm thinking at the moment.
I mean, I'd be very surprised if you loaded it up and you had the familiar Android home screen there. I would assume they're going to go sort of the way of Amazon, use sort of the base level Android with the kernels and then build their own complete interface and operating system on top of that. So it will probably not be even recognisable as Android. It just happens to have the very core foundations of that system and thus making it easy for developers to plug in, but you still have that very Nintendo look and feel.
Yeah, I think that makes more sense. Like you said, it would be weird if you kind of booted up the NX and it had the kind of familiar Android home screen. I think Nintendo aren't the kind of company that would take that and just leave it. They definitely want to do their own thing with it, especially when you think about like security flaws and that sort of thing. They'll definitely want to make sure it's really tight. But yeah, it makes sense. I think what's interesting at the moment is that we don't know what the NX is going to be. We don't know if it is going to be a Wii. I mean, we assume it's the next evolution after the Wii U, but that doesn't mean it's going to be a home console as we know it. I mean, it could be half portable, half. My theory at the moment is that it's something we're not even going to recognise as a kind of a traditional console, but actually maybe something you take out with you, and then when you get home, you kind of plug it into the TV and then use it as a console. And it might even tie into Nintendo's whole quality of life platform, which we sort of started to see bits of. But Nintendo's interested in the health area. So I think it makes sense that the NX will tie into that. How it will do so, I don't know. Whether it will go down the wearable route, it seems unlikely, but there might be something there in terms of the device you take out with you and it's tracking your health or whatnot. So I think there's a lot of possibilities. But the Android thing, I laughed when I first read it, and actually the more I've thought about it, the more it sort of makes sense to me.
For sure. Well, that's what we think. Let us know what you think. Do you want to see Android on Nintendo? What do you reckon the NX is going to bring for us? Thank you for watching.